Thank you, Spiritually Free Band. Thank you, Delanne, for picking out that song, if you're the one. I just want to see all of you be brave. Welcome to Sunday at the Center, to our theme this month of From Fear to Awakening. And my talk today, Beyond Fear, Awakening to Our True Nature. I'm just going to take a moment to just breathe in that beautiful song and the magnificence of our music program. I'm just so appreciate. Yes. Now, you don't know this, but some of us were bowling yesterday. They're multi-talented. Well, maybe there's a few gutter balls involved, but I have to point one person out in particular, and that was Rory. He actually bowled 2 strikes, but he bowled 2 balls at one time. There's a video on our Facebook. You have to check it out. I think he was a little sore last night, and truth be told, so was I. Muscles. Uh-oh, his arms are different lengths now. We had a blast. We had a great time, gutter balls and all. So the core message is when fear arises, we identify with this limitation or separated self from our true nature. See, both Ernest Holmes and Dr. Sue teach us that our deepest freedom is found not by conquering fear, but by awakening to the truth of who we really are. So, what if fear really isn't the enemy here? What if fear is simply a signal, hello, you forgot who you are? Now, every spiritual tradition speaks about awakening, as does Science of Mind, as does Dr. Sue Morter, but we talk about it in a way of recognizing that wholeness has already been downloaded the minute that we're born. It's not something that we have to go out there and seek. It's already here. But that human condition, right? Sometimes we got to figure out how to be the best, how to succeed, how to survive, how to show up. That's a place of seeking. I'm not saying that I know there's seekers in this room. I've called myself a seeker in the past. But what did I find out? That it's right here. All these years, now that I've been here for 65 years, all these years. Yes, I'm a baby compared to some of you, and I'm an old lady for some of you. All these years, all those books, all those classes, all those retreats. Now, I'm glad that I did them because it got me right here where I stand. But it's always been here, and it will always continue to be here. Because forgetting happens, you guys. See, fear is born from forgetfulness. In the Science of Mind perspective, we learn that when we believe that we're separate from the one, that's when the struggle happens. When we remember that we are connected to the magnificence and potential that is ours, our birthright, things just fall into place. When we identify solely with our circumstances, our history, our bodies, our limitations, we lose awareness that we are connected to the infinite. So, when fear arises, and I've talked about this before, we start asking ourselves, what if I fail? If I asked myself that all the time, I wouldn't be up here. Because I'd be paralyzed by the fear of making a wrong turn, saying something incorrectly? What about that thing that we ask ourselves, what if I'm really not enough? What if I can't live up to my potential? Fear also asks us, what if I lose what I already have? That's another form of paralysis. Been there, done that. I've been there in relationships. I've been there in jobs. I didn't want to lose what I already had, but yet deep inside I knew there was something else for me. So, these questions emerge from a consciousness of separation. Dr. Sue teaches us that fear is often stored in our energy, in the contraction of our energy, let's say it that way. Because if we are not living from the energy that we are, and it is big, my friends, it's huge, but we think we only get this much when we're really this much. In the book study this morning, we did a little exercise together. And I had everybody in the room get up from their seat in the energy of who they really are, their essential, soulful self, and walk around the building. Walk around the room, walk outside into the sunlight. And what I said was that that's really how we can live our lives. It doesn't mean that we forget sometimes to go to that deeper connected place. And what I said to them is, when you notice that you forget, stop. It takes 30 whole seconds to take a breath and remember your connection. Stop and move forward. You walk into a room or situation and you start contracting and go, uh-oh, what have I gotten myself into? That is your signal to stop and connect with the truth of who you are. See, we become identified sometimes, and it's just the way the world is set up, you guys. It's no fault of our own or our parents or our teachers, but sometimes we identify with our wounds, our traumas, our stories, our roles, those past experiences that we've had. We forget the truth, the deeper truth of who we are. See, fear is not a proof of danger. It's evidence that we've forgotten our connection to who we really are. So let's talk about this. The difference between the false self and the true self. I don't know about you, but my false self, she doesn't say nice things to me. She might remind me when I've messed up or when I've said something that I didn't really want to say, but I said it anyway, or when I've done something contrary to how I really want to be showing up on this planet. She might be judgmental. She might be snippy. And not just about all of you, but me. She's telling me, why did you do it that way? You could have done that so much better. So it's very distinct, the difference in the voice of my false self compared to my true self. My true self, on the other hand, I love it when she talks to me. She says things like, you are so much more than your thoughts. You're doing the best you can. You're doing amazing work. You're showing up as the love that you truly are. Keep going. It's okay if you're not perfect. It's okay if you don't look like or sound like whoever. Just keep being you. There's a very loving and peaceful voice that shows up as my true self. Maybe back in the day I didn't recognize the difference, but I sure do now. I can recognize it in an instant. So, when I hear that false self, it actually is a very fragile thing to stay in that false self. The fragility is it needs to keep talking that way to myself. The fragility is it looks outside. She looks outside for Robert to say, "Hey, Cindy, you're doing it great." The true self doesn't do that. I don't look for that outside affirmation that I'm doing okay. There's a few people in the room that have told me when I've made missteps. And I've listened. I'm not talking about you, Brad. It's different in a marriage. But I remember when I first got here and I got some feedback and I was like, oh, you like this and you didn't like that. And I realized very quickly, I can't please all y'all. But I know I can please my true self, my essential self. That's what I'm here to be, is following my passion, following my purpose. See, beneath the conditioning is ourselves that's always been whole and always will be whole. So an illustration here. When I was, probably from being a little kid up to teenage years, I looked a lot like my Aunt Carol. I probably still do look like Aunt Carol. Aunt Carol was different, very different from my mom. Mom has 2 sisters and a brother. And my mom is my mom. She's very put together. You've seen Roz. She always looks beautiful. If you've been to her home, you know how precise and particular she is. And then there was my Aunt Carol. Aunt Carol has a zest for life. She likes to play games, cards. She likes to play tennis. She likes to do things. And it's not top priority for her to have a perfectly kept house. Well, in my family, they decided that that was a sign of laziness. And so when I came out looking like my Aunt Carol, they said, "Oh, Cindy, you're just like your Aunt Carol. You're lazy, you're this, you're that." And you know what? I bought it when I was a kid. It's so interesting to have maturity under your belt. When I look at my Aunt Carol, she is like one of the busiest people I've ever known. Oh, I guess we are kind of a lot alike in that sense. We have a zest for life. We like to play games and go places and do things. But back then, I used it as a judgment on myself. I had this framework that, oh, I'm not like my mother, I'm like my aunt. Has there ever been someone that told you, a teacher or an adult in your life, that said you're like this or you're like that, and you believe them? It happens for all of us. So my true self has always known that what others say about me doesn't matter. But my false self has bought into it over the years. And thankfully, gratefully for those folks that are younger in the room, that falls away the more you know yourself. the more maturity you have, the more you hang out with people like this in this community. So, for me, one of the most profound awakenings I had was bumping into Dr. Sue's work. You see, I've been studying science of mind for almost 30 years. And if ever any of you have read any of Ernest Holmes' works, you might know that it's very dense. One sentence, one paragraph can really take a long time to understand because of the way it's written. It's wise, it's profound, it's truth as far as I'm concerned, but it kind of can deflect people because of the way it's written. And what happened was when I bumped into Dr. Sue, I realized that it wasn't about studying Ernest's work and understanding it. It was about embodying these teachings, living it, breathing it. I mean, it's great to have an intellectual understanding, and you can get ahead with an intellectual understanding, but I'm telling you, when I bumped into Dr. Sue, all of a sudden when I read Science of Mind the next time, I went, oh, that's what he's talking about. I didn't have to work harder to try to understand. I just had to let it be a part of my soul. So, Dr. Sue emphasizes, instead of escaping fear, we want to bring it into our awareness. And actually, Ernest Holmes says this too. Maybe not in that kind of clear terms. See, when we recognize our fear and we stop resisting it, we learn from it. We recognize our wholeness, we know who we really are. The moment we resist, what happens? It persists. I've been through a lot of that too, for many years, resisting who I'm here to be. Yeah, corporate America was pretty good for me for about almost 40 years. But there was something I was resisting, although I was dabbling, I was a practitioner. I went to my spiritual center. I was reading. I was showing up in service. I was doing these things. But that knocking on my soul didn't go away. It stayed here. There's something knocking on your soul. And maybe some of you are already doing it in the way of writing, singing, poetry, serving others, teaching. And maybe there's more. So, in Science of Mind, we recognize that truth isn't about just being believed, although belief system is very important. It's about embodying it. And I love that these two teachers that I love so much are completely aligned. So here's a question for you. What if every fearful moment is actually that invitation to return to who you really are? What if you sign up to do something and you show up, let's say like one time for my birthday, Bryn got me zip lining tickets because I told her I always wanted to try it. So there I go. I'm going to go zip lining. And all of a sudden the fear, the panic, it came over me like this big whoosh. And I thought, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And they start you off little baby, A little zip line. This is how you do it. This is where you hold. This is what you do. And by the end, I loved it. There was one spot that really, maybe this wasn't the first time I did it. Second time I ziplined, we were in the forest in Washington, and there was a platform. And what they wanted you to do is just simply step off the platform. And I thought to myself, if I had done this years ago, I would have been stuck here. They would have had to come get me. But I was so into it because I loved that adventure. See, if I paid attention to that fear and I didn't do it, then I'd be back there still afraid. Sometimes you do have to take that leap. So remembering our wholeness is the great spiritual discovery. Remembering our wholeness is the great spiritual discovery. Nothing essential to our beingness is missing. The divine presence that we are is already expressing through us. As I said a few weeks ago, our work is not self-improvement, it's self-remembrance. Here's some signs of awakening. Fear loses its authority and we do it anyway. Our compassion expands. You notice where you can show up and be in service. Our trust deepens. We have less concerns and really know that the universe is friendly. Speaking of that, you got to join us in our 22-day Spark Countdown. It's on Facebook. Don't miss it. Megan Silito is leading us in that. So if you're not on Facebook and you want to get on, make sure that you follow our Facebook page. It's powerful. Also, creativity just flows. That's what I find. When I'm living in my self-remembrance and I sit down to do my work, it just flows right out of me with ease. It's quick. But if I'm up in my head trying to perform and do it right, stop. Hard stop. Signs of awakening. We stop defending. Stop defending. And we are just here as expressions. We become more authentic. Like when Dell-Ann is singing and the song just takes over her emotions. I love it when you allow for us to witness your authenticity. It's beautiful. As awakening unfolds, these are the things that you can look forward to. We discover a freedom is not the absence of fear. Freedom is remembering who we are even when the fear appears. Play with me for a second here. I have some statements I want you to repeat after me. In fact, stand up. I know it's hot in here, but well, only for you tall people. It's hotter up there, not for us short people. Okay, here's the first statement. I trust the universe. Bigger. I trust the universe.
I trust the universe.
The next one is, I belong in this world.
I belong in this world.
Again, I belong in this world.
I belong in this world.
And the last one, it's a little longer, pay attention. I am an infinite being of light and love. Infinite being of light and love. I am an infinite being of light and love. All right, sit down and just feel that. So here's some practices. I like to be practical, you guys. Practices that help us awaken to our true nature. First of all, when fear arises, pause and remember. This is an opening. This is that doorway. This is the moment for you to remember who you are. So pause and remember. The next one is take a breath. We did this morning. We took a breath. We leaned against our spine, not physically, internally. Therefore, it helps us open that gateway, that central channel, and we took slow, deep breaths. This is a 30-second practice that can change your day. You walk into a room and you're feeling tense and fearful. Walk to the corner of the room and do this. Or walk back outside and do this and then enter as an awakened being. It'll change and transform everything. And lastly, choose the larger truth. That you are one with the infinite. That you are guided, you are supported, you are whole. There's nothing lacking, nothing broken. And that the presence within me or you is greater than any fear before you. 3 ways. The truth is we're all on this journey home. I love it that Dr. Sue calls it Project Awakening. If you're not sure what your purpose is in this life, that's it. You got it. You've got the assignment. Your assignment is to be awake and aware, to know the truth of who you are. If you don't have anything else, that's the one. It'll lead you everywhere you need to go. I want to end with some closing words and consciousness and wisdom from one of my favorite teachers as well, and that's Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. I do prayer and meditation for Agape twice a month, and I went to the Agape website and realized that what he's teaching this month is the same thing we're teaching here. So this comes from Reverend Michael. Fear asks, what if I lose? Faith says, I am already held. Fear contracts possibility, and faith reveals inevitability. The inevitability of divine love expressing itself. We transmute fear not by fighting it, but by remembering who we are and what we're here to be. Remembering that the kingdom is not an external journey, but our awakened consciousness. Beloved, fear not. Not because circumstances are perfect, but because reality is the real essential us. When faith becomes our vibrational stance, our response aligns with love. our actions align with wisdom, and our life becomes evidence of the unseen made visible. Take that in, and as I prepare to start our prayer time, I want you to hold especially close in your heart Reverend Donald. He's having open heart surgery tomorrow. So please include him in your prayers tomorrow and know that he is held in the divine presence. Join me in prayer. Take in a nice deep breath. I'm so grateful. So very grateful for this amazing, bright, light, hot day and this room that's sort of keeping us cool. I'm grateful for this beautiful community we call Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living, and for all that are attracted to align with our purpose of allowing lives to know who they are, to transform what no longer serves, to teach these beautiful teachings of science of mind and all these other teachers, modern day mystics that have walked the earth before and are still with us today, that keep reminding us to remember, to remember, to remember. So grateful to know that there is only one. Whether we call it Mother, Father, God, Allah, Jehovah, love, unconditional love, the wave, the ocean, the heart. So many names and so many faces, and yet only one. Within this oneness is everything that we see and we hear, the mountains around us, the chairs that support us. And because there's only one thing happening here, I know that I am one in the same as the great I am. Every step I take, every word I speak, every emotion, every success, every joy, every challenge, every moment that I remember, and also those moments I forget, unify me with this power, presence, oneness. And I know the same truth for everybody within earshot of this prayer, whether in this room now or watching this stream later, and all of those beautiful souls that are watching us now from the comforts of their own homes, whether they're here in Utah or in California or anywhere else on this beautiful planet. Always unified. We can't be separate from that which we are. We are love. We are light. We are powerful beings, compassionate. Because I know that's the truth of who we are, I claim and know in this moment and every moment that those that are going through challenges physically, including our own beloved Reverend Donald Graves, is held, supported, loved, and that each doctor and nurse and caretaker is that the face and hands of the one. That he will come through this with flying colors because we're knowing the truth of who he is. He can never be broken or less than. And I know that for all of us that go through these challenges physically in our body temples, I also know for those that have lost someone recently, and I know of people that have called me to tell me that they've lost beloveds, that this peace that goes beyond all understanding on the human level downloads powerfully, palpably, fully in their hearts, recognizing that these souls are ever present, eternal souls that will always be a part of their daily living. In their hearts, in the things they say, in what they remember, their experiences together. They can never be gone. They'll always be with them throughout the day, in every way. I also know for those of us that are wanting to see this planet live peace in peace, that it starts at home with us as we're living from that soulful self and we're talking kindly and lovingly to ourselves, and that peace overcomes us. That peace ripples out into the world. I also know that for all our beloveds in this county, in this state that have lost their homes to fires, and all these other places that are going through these fires, that these fires are a temporary situation, that their lives will be rebuilt in a new, powerful way. Because other souls will come forward to help, like I've seen online, so many donations coming in, replacing furniture and clothes and all the things that the people have lost in Midvale. I know that's what's happening here. We take care of each other. So I just invite you to say your name silently and the names of the beloveds that would like affirmative prayer in this particular way on this day. Yes, yes, yes. No prayer too small. No prayer request too big. The universe has already said yes in a big, profound way. And that's what I'm grateful for. We're affirming what's already available to us. It's unlimited and therefore done. So we release it. We know it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe.